Starting therapy is a really big step. You're getting ready to be open, to be vulnerable, so it's totally natural to wonder, hey, what's the safety net here? Well, that's what we're going to get into. We're going to unpack the ethical framework that's there to protect you and guide your therapist so you can walk into that room feeling confident.
And this is really the most important question, isn't it? When you're about to share some of your most personal thoughts, how do you actually know that the person sitting across from you is trustworthy, that they really have your best interests at heart?
The answer, thankfully, isn't just a gut feeling. It's a really robust professional code of ethics. And I love thinking about it this way. It's like a toolkit. Every qualified counselor has one, and every single tool in it is a principle designed specifically to protect you, to respect your choices, and to build that solid foundation of trust.
So, let's start with the most important person in this whole equation, you. See, this ethical code isn't just some dusty rulebook for the counselor. It's a declaration of your rights. And understanding these rights, that's the first step to feeling like you are in control of your own journey.
Okay, first up, and this one is so crucial, informed consent. This is way more than just signing a form on a clipboard. It means you have the right to a clear, upfront conversation about what therapy is actually going to look like, the methods they use, the goals you're working towards, even the potentially tough parts, all before you even start. It really puts you in the driver's seat from minute one.
And this is what informed really means in practice. It means knowing that you are there completely by choice. It means you get to know your counselor's qualifications, you know the game plan, and this is huge. You have the right to withdraw and stop at any time, no questions asked. It also means they tell you about the limits of confidentiality right away, so there are zero surprises down the road.
And that leads perfectly into this next key right, client autonomy. Basically, your counselor's job is not to tell you what to do. It's not to push their own values onto your life. Their role is to support you, to help you explore your own options and values, and to empower you to make the decisions that feel right for you. Think of them as a guide, not a director.
Okay, so we've talked about your rights. Now, let's flip the coin and look at the counselor's responsibilities. It's probably best to think of it as their professional pledge to you. These are the promises that create that safe and trusting environment.
So, what's in this pledge? Well, a few key things. First, competence. This means they'll only work within their area of expertise. If they aren't the right person for what you're facing, they have a duty to help you find someone who is. Next, integrity. That just means being honest and transparent with you. And finally, fidelity. It means they're going to be reliable. They'll honor the commitments they make, like showing up on time and being ready for your sessions.
This is a really important distinction, and I love how they're shown as two sides of the same coin. On one side, you've got beneficence. That's the duty to actively do good and promote your well-being. But on the other side, you have the absolute rock-bottom baseline rule of all therapy, non-maleficence. And that just means do no harm. A counselor must always be on guard to make sure they're not causing any harm, big or small.
All right, let's tackle the big one. One of the most common and maybe most misunderstood topics in therapy, confidentiality. It's the absolute bedrock of trust, but it's not totally absolute. Understanding its limits is just as important as knowing the rule itself.
This is it, right? The million-dollar question. Can I say anything in here and know for sure that it stays in this room? The answer is almost always yes. A resounding yes. But there are a few very specific, very important exceptions we have to talk about.
And here they are. A counselor can only break confidentiality in a few very specific situations. Number 1, if there's a clear and immediate danger of you hurting yourself or someone else. 2, if they suspect child abuse or neglect, they are legally mandated reporters. And 3, if a judge literally orders them to release information. The thing to remember is these exceptions aren't random. They exist purely to prevent very serious harm.
So who holds counselors to all these high standards? It's not just an honor system, you know? There's a whole professional structure working behind the scenes, and it's all designed to provide support, ensure accountability, and really maintain the integrity of the profession.
A huge part of that system is something called professional supervision. Now, what this means for you is that your therapist isn't just working in a bubble all by themselves. They regularly meet with a more experienced colleague to get guidance and feedback. It's like a built-in system of checks and balances that makes sure they're always supported and being held accountable.
And when a really tricky ethical situation pops up, counselors don't just wing it or go with their gut.
They're trained to use a very structured process to figure out the most ethical way forward.
And you can see here just how thorough that process is. It involves everything from identifying the core problem to consulting the official codes and laws, looking at all the possible alternatives, and, super important, seeking out that supervision we just talked about. It's a deliberate professional process that's designed to get the best possible outcome.
And what's holding all of this up? The foundation for this entire framework really comes down to two things: justice and cultural competence. This means your therapist is committed to being fair, to being unbiased, and to respecting your unique background, your beliefs, and your experiences. It's all about making sure that every single person gets high-quality, respectful care.
And in the end, it all comes back to this. Every single rule, every principle, every framework we've talked about is there for one single reason: to create and maintain an environment where you feel safe, supported, and respected. That's what allows the real work of therapy to actually happen.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. Now that you're armed with all this knowledge, now that you know your rights, what's one question you would ask a potential counselor before you start therapy? What would you ask to make sure they're the right fit for you? Because taking that step, asking that question, that's how you really start to own your journey.